I want to start the show off by addressing the elephant in the room. Somebody touched my Emmy without asking. McConnell, was it you? I found slime on it.
For God's sakes, apologize for assaulting that girl.
Okay. I'm embarrassed. But for the record, her body was saying no, but her words were, please don't touch me. I said, relax. I'm merely trying to squeeze your head until it pops. Okay, let's look at a chart. Here is a chart of your grandmother's attraction to me over the past year. We start off with a spike when I start to do my daily briefings. We then have another spike when I start to show charts. Here's the point where I killed a bunch of old people, bit of a dip, then assault claims, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Okay, that is all the time we have today.
That Como really doesn't know when to stop. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. Yes, in a different setting, to say the least. I'll explain why in a little bit. But right now, we have some really incredibly important news to get into, especially a very shocking and surprising one coming from, of course, the CEO of Pfizer. Just had to cancel his trip to Israel we'll explain fully why in just a little bit. But before we do that, plus a lot more, the small clip that we began this broadcast with was by a Kyle Dunnigan. The link to his full video is in the description below. You could also check him out on Instagram. I never heard of him before, but I was pleasantly surprised with this video that he came out with, which is absolutely hilarious because it's also partly true. You know what's also hilarious and an absolute joke? The Washington Post that just released an article yesterday which they decided to promote by writing this headline, quote, Biden stimulus showers money on Americans, sharply cutting poverty in defining move of presidency. Yes, this is not the Babylon Bee. This is not a satire website. This is from the official, verified Washington Post account that is absolutely getting slam dunked and ratioed for this absurd disinformation propaganda that is truly showing how desperate they are to push and promote a man which some people have described as the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, but is currently the President of the United States. Now, of course, when you compare this bureaucratic nightmare that's unfolding right now with this $1.9 trillion package that the government is trying to indebt future citizens with by absolutely wasting and spending their money into oblivion, that was a little bit of my personal opinion. We do have to point out that it was the previous president, Donald Trump, that did send Americans $1,800, which the Washington Post decided to characterize by saying, quote, Americans are hit by economic shocks as confusion stumbles undermine Trump administration's stimulus efforts. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm sensing just a little bit of bias there. And again, it just highlights another case of the mainstream media being absolutely clueless, as they are the larger representative figures of a PR establishment that is willing to say and do anything to bow down at the foot of power and the special interests that, of course, serve them and institutions like the Washington Post, which is also, by the way, Jeff Bezos' newspaper. Who would have thought? Now, when the mainstream media is not pushing psychological disinformation propaganda, they're pushing psychological disinformation propaganda as perfectly characterized by the latest article by MarketWatch that is sensationally and hyperbolically fear-mongering now about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. You know, since people being able to freely interact each other without any central force, big bank, or government standing in the way of them, yeah, that's, quote, dangerous to society, as MarketWatch came out with an article that's titled, Bitcoin Could Prevent Society from Functioning, and is an extreme form of libertarian anarchism, warns this fund manager. Yeah, you know, because there's nothing more honest and holy and sacred in our society than, of course, fund managers. And I'm not even saying that sarcastically. I'm saying that from the point of view from the establishment that, of course, treats individuals like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and billionaire out-of-touch fund managers as, quote, the holy gospel that, of course, they regurgitate their PR larger talking points to you as if you're an idiot. And throughout the years, as Bitcoin has been continuing to climb, as we've been talking about it for a very long time on this independent media broadcast, we have to remember that these kind of baseless, crazy attacks on cryptocurrencies have been going on from the establishment for a very long time, since its existence when it was originally laughed at and made fun of. But now currently, as of the making of this video, one Bitcoin is worth $51,059.20. Now again, Bitcoins could still be a honeypot, and I actually talked about that, plus some market strategies, specifically on LukeUncensored.com. I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. But again, it's important to highlight, as fake news continues to be spread, individuals like Julian Assange, a publisher, is still sitting behind bars in jail for the act of doing real journalism. Now, as the establishment punishes those that do real journalism or goes after 10-year-old boys for literally playing with Nerf toys, which literally happened in Colorado Springs as a 10-year-old, was arrested and charged with a felony menacing, a Class 5 felony, for playing with a Nerf toy in the middle of a street. Yes, a 10-year-old was brought in for mugshots and fingerprinting for playing with a fake bow and arrow in the middle of the street. So yeah, some very interesting developments, especially in the, quote, land of the free, which of course by the establishment standards, 10-year-olds are told to stay inside, not to go outside, and to sit on, of course, YouTube, where they could find content like this, where literal grown men shove items up their you-know-what, where the sun doesn't shine, as part of some weird contest. And according to YouTube, that's A-okay. Cursing? You better not do that on this platform. Independent media, investigative journalism that's actually doing the job that the mainstream media should be doing? No. You want to sit on something and take it up to you-know-what while you're filming it? A-okay. Totally approved. Yes, you can upload that on YouTube, and it's getting massive views right now, which any child, by the way, could just watch at any moment and time by going to YouTube. As a part of an independent media organization that has been fully demonetized and screwed over in the algorithms and many other unspeakable ways that have stopped us from reaching our full potential and our full audience, I think it's time to remind you about our website, wearechange.org/donate, which you could sign up on our email list right here in the top right-hand corner, which members just a few days ago got an exclusive look at LukeUncensored.com, our new video platform for exclusive members-only content that costs you 50 cents a day. There's already 5 exclusive videos up there for you right now about health, wealth, and all the information that I cannot share with you on this particular platform. In today's special behind-the-scenes sponsored only video, we are going to be going over and playing a video that, of course, is being fully censored right now on YouTube. To get that content, all you have to do is go to LukeUncensored.com, sign up, and of course, stay tuned for more exclusive content that will be only available for you. LukeUncensored.com, click the link right now and join, because you definitely won't want to miss today's video. Now, by and large, something amazing and significant has been happening, not just in the United States, but all over the world, with, of course, huge numbers of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths declining to new record low numbers. This is great. This is amazing news. Less people are getting sick, less people are dying, less people are getting hurt. And it's important to note here that still many people, especially the experts, can't pinpoint why this is happening. Even according to CNN, this is not because of the shot. Could this be herd immunity? Could this be a mutation? Are we in the clear? Well, we don't know. But ever since the inauguration of Joe Biden, the numbers have been dramatically going down. In the United States, hospitalizations have gone down by almost 16% nationwide. In the United Kingdom, cases have gone down 14%. And it looks like the numbers will be continuing to go down from here, as of course there are still major legal battles unfolding right now to institute mandatory shots, as the first court case in this particular matter has just started in New Mexico between an officer at a detention center who is being told that they must take the shot or face termination. This court case is going to be very important, and according to many legal experts, this will be the new standard for legal precedent regarding how institutions could go from here and how they could institute policy. Some people are saying that this court case might even go to the Supreme Court and is going to present a very interesting legal challenge, as one side is going to be arguing my body, my choice, and another side is going to be arguing a collective argument of what they believe is better for everyone. And I think you know where I stand on that particular issues, especially with the importance of the most important minority of them all, the individual. But I'll save you the lecture. Another aspect to really consider here is that there have been some complications with these shots, as there are sporadic reports by some mainstream media companies that talk about how some people are dying, other people are falling ill, like in Austria, where the shot was suspended from what some people perceive to be a bad batch. Was this a bad batch? Is there something else to worry about, especially after there have not been any long-term studies into this? Are there any complications and risks with specific groups, with specific genotypes? Well, let's be honest here, we do not know. And because we do not know, I always argued for personal responsibility and to always take the safer side rather than the riskier side. And let's be honest here, a lot of these politicians, a lot of these big pharma representatives definitely haven't been playing it safe, in my opinion, especially with how fast they've been moving. But interestingly, one person who has been playing itself specifically for himself as an individual is the CEO of Pfizer, that just had to cancel his trip because he has not received the shot that his own company produces. Now, if you remember, we were talking about this when the news broke of this in the beginning, when we said, hey, there's something to note here when the creator of this product says he doesn't want to take it himself because according to him, he, quote, doesn't want to cut in line. Now, usually when there's an act of philanthropy by the super rich, usually there's PR talking points, slogans, press releases around the particular act. But this time, this only came out after he was questioned by a CNBC reporter if he had personally taken the shot. He did not, when of course the shot was being rolled out to everyone on January 14th, 2021. This, of course, raised a lot of legitimate skepticism, especially with how horrible the entire situation was painted to everyone, and now the creator of this amazing, incredible shot that's going to change everything, bring us back to normal, is deciding not to take it himself. And now, because of his decision, he just had to cancel his trip to Israel. Israel, by the way, that's implementing some of the most stringent mandatory shot protocols than I would say anywhere else in the world, where they already rolled out a shot passport, making it mandatory to visit gyms, restaurants, malls, and other public places to be shot up with the medicine that the Pfizer CEO previously did not want to take. Now, it is important to note that the Pfizer CEO did decide to take the shot, but with the Pfizer shot, you need 2 of them. And you need a specific window between the first and the second shot, according to Pfizer themselves, which of course he didn't get because he was postponing allegedly getting it. And because he didn't, he wasn't allowed into Israel and had to reschedule his trip towards the end of spring because of this personal decision, which I believe deserves a lot of scrutiny one way or another. This, of course, as the Prime Minister of Netanyahu announced that Pfizer visiting them was to potentially build a manufacturing site in Israel. Another important thing to note here is that the Pfizer CEO actually has no liability if someone does get hurt, if someone dies, there is no way to get any form of legal retribution, whether financially or legally, because of the close connections that the pharma industrial complex has with the government. They face no liability at all, which is something also important to note here, especially if they're going to make some of these shots mandatory. Now, don't get me started talking about the history of the pharma industrial complex, especially Pfizer and all the other big pharma giants that have caused havoc and devastation in the world through some corrupt companies. But also, on the backdrop, we also have to understand that a lot of what's happening right now is still misunderstood. The establishment and many, quote, authoritative institutions keep flip-flopping on policies. The World Health Organization just announced that they're scrapping their interim report looking into the origins of this, as of course previously before they were just regurgitating Chinese Communist Party talking points. Obviously, there has been a clear cover-up by countries like China here that have prevented investigators from going into their country. It took them a year to allow people in. They were only at the laboratory for 3 hours. They barely were able to investigate anything, and they came to conclusions that literally regurgitate Chinese government talking points, which now they're even scrapping, which makes you wonder what's going on here. Now, as we still don't know the origin, as a lot of people still don't know what's going on, and a lot of people are just pushing and promoting this shot on you, one of the things that we're going to be talking about at length in our special bonus content is topics related to this medical study that's found in the National Library of Medicine that found that vitamin D insufficiency, this is according to the study, and its title, quote, may account for almost 9 of 10 deaths related to the sickness that's going on. Yes, 9 out of 10. A cheap, readily available supplement that the pharma industrial complex can't make a major profit out of, according to the official story, could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives. People who are no longer with us could have still been here. We could have prevented the hospitalizations, the cases, the deaths, if people listened to some medical professionals that, of course, were being censored on YouTube, that continued to talk about this, but sadly, a lot of what they said went on deaf ears. We as independent media, we covered this important factor here as well. But what did you expect from an establishment that promotes individuals like New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, gives them book deals, gives them Emmy Awards, as now he is being described as Monster Cuomo by some, as of course now a fifth accuser came forward saying that he acted very inappropriate with them. Meanwhile, this is the same man that instituted a nursing home policy that has led to an estimated 15,000 people dead in New York State. And as men like these are representations of the government's good response, according to the establishment, and other states who are doing better than he is, instituted less lockdown policies, less restrictive measures, are doing better, are described as bad, you then shouldn't be surprised to why many people don't believe the mainstream media and the establishment, as they just keep pushing more and more ridiculous nonsense on you that, of course, doesn't help you. The stuff that does usually get censored. And there's even more of that I want to talk about, but I can't. So yeah, it's been frustrating, but I feel a lot better after being able to finally express myself on other platforms. And speaking the truth, speaking your own personal truths, is freeing and refreshing. Being your own authentic self is beautiful, is amazing, and I hope I inspire you guys to do that. It hasn't been easy being independent media during a time of mass censorship, but it sure as hell has been rewarding and fun. And I wouldn't be able to do all the amazing things that I've been able to do if it wasn't for you watching, subscribing, and getting this video out there to your friends and family members. Literally, all it takes is double-clicking that link, going through your DMs, scrolling down randomly, sending someone this video. Let me know what they say down in the comment section back in response to you. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.